Our final speaker for the evening is Kate Luke. Kate is the co-founder and manager of Little Oak Sanctuary and is deeply committed to promoting compassion and justice for farmed animals. Kate's journey into animal advocacy began in 2011 when herself and her partner James were moved by an expose on the live export industry by Animals Australia. This revelation led them to explore the realities of animal agriculture in Australia, which then led them to adopting a vegan lifestyle. As they lived on a small rural block of land, they began rescuing animals in need, including 2 tiny piglets who profoundly touched their lives. The sanctuary, founded in 2013, was inspired by one of these piglets, little Timmy, who sadly lost his life after suffering a seizure at about 6 months of age. Kate and James honoured the memory of his strength and character by planting an oak tree over his grave. His spirit continues to guide their mission to plant seeds of compassion in the community, sharing individual stories of farmed animals who are so rarely seen as the individuals they are. Thank you, Kate.
Thanks so much, Linda. Thanks for having us, and thanks to Animal Liberation. I'll start sharing my screen then, I guess. Here we go. Can everyone see that? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay. So thanks, everyone, and thanks to Linda at Animal Liberation. We're so excited to actually be here and sharing the work of Little Oak Sanctuary with you. As we're going through, this is some of the pictures of little Timmy Piglet himself, the little pig who inspired our work. So as Linda said, we started in 2013, and that was after having taken little Timmy Piglet and his sister, Heavenly Harani Tiger Piggy, in 2012. And really, we had no idea how amazing pigs were until we started to live with these little guys. And we'd become aware through the work of Chris and Animal Liberation ACT and other groups of just the horrific reality that these animals are raised in, and the way that they're killed, and everything to do with the process of producing animal products. So that's why we chose to become vegan at that time. And we really wanted to be part of the process of helping people see these animals as individuals. So that's what inspired us to start the sanctuary. And so these are some of the pictures we took early on of these 2 little piglets who came from an awful piggery. And they were considered runts, so they weren't going to, they were going to be killed by the blunt force trauma. So fortunately, we were able to rescue them. And yeah, they just blew our minds as to how incredible pigs were. Yeah, as Linda said, poor little Timmy, he passed away when he was between 6 and 8 months. He'd been suffering from an illness and seemed to be recovering, but he had a seizure while he was having a vet visit. And just the loss of him was so traumatic for us that he really inspired us to make that next step and start the sanctuary officially. So we started in 2013. There he is again. So little guys. So through our journey, we've advocacy has always been a really big part of our work, and we've certainly tried to do whatever we can. So we've run a few campaigns. We've run a year-long bus advertising campaign that travelled the streets of Canberra with a full bus advertising people to come to our website where they can learn more about these animals as individuals. We have tours and events at the sanctuary and also in town in Canberra, raising awareness and trying to be as engaging as possible. At some of the other animals we've taken in, let's go through little Timmy. So little Timmy, when he arrived, was only 3.5 kilos, and Tiger was 5 kilos. Yeah. So this is Tiger at the property now. Just going to check. Just checking that everyone can still see everything.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Kate.
Sorry. Yeah, so this is Tiger today. She was born in 2012, so she's now a 12-year-old pig, which is quite elderly and definitely much longer than she would have ever been allowed to live if she had have in her previous life on the pig farm. We've got some other images. So at the moment on the sanctuary, we've got over 330 animals from all different sorts of backgrounds. We've had goats come in from that have been used in research. There's our bus campaign. So this was funded through Voiceless. And then we had Chris the sheep, who some people might have heard the story of. He came in 2015 after being lost in the bush for probably about 5 years. And he was carrying over 40 kilos of wool, and it's remarkable that he survived. There was a big narrative in the media about Chris. He shot to world fame, obviously being the world record holder for the most amount of fleece, but it was almost like a title that people were proud of, and people were trying to claim ownership of him as if it was something to be proud of. But we were really trying to raise awareness of the welfare issues that faced and how sheep have become dependent on us because of the selective breeding that no longer allows them to shed their wool. So we really tried to use his story as a illustration of how these animals have just become so dependent on us. And it was a really remarkable journey for Chris, getting to know people and learning to trust them, because he'd lived basically with a flock of kangaroo for the first 5 years of his life. But we actually found that he, having had not much to do with humans, was he came around easier than some of the animals that had spent longer on a farm and had more to do with humans and had bad experiences. So these are some of the little animals that we've helped over the time. This is little Tilly, who sadly didn't make it. She was trampled by the herd and abandoned. And so today we've got over 330 animals in care from all different sorts of backgrounds. A lot of them are elderly nowadays, and we have a fantastic community of volunteers who help us with our work. These are just some of our live-in volunteers who help us with the day-to-day stuff at the sanctuary. And this is little Wooly Harrelson. I'm sorry for going fast, but I can't, because I can't hear anyone and I can't see anyone when it's on the slideshow. I can't tell if anyone's saying anything, so I'm sorry about that. All right. So that's about all. I've gone over time anyway, so I'm sorry about that. Thanks, Alex, for saying you like my photos.
They're glorious, Kate, and so is the work that you and James are doing. And honestly, if you want to speak for any longer, please feel free.
Oh, thank you. I won't take up people's time, but yeah, we really appreciate everyone's support as well. Obviously, it's a challenge with 330 animals in care, and we have, obviously, with the cost of living crisis, it affects us as well. So we are just in the final stretch of our winter fundraising campaign. Someone's asked if the images are on sale. If you get in touch with me, then yes, would love to sell you some of the images. We also have animal sponsorships. So if someone would like to sponsor one of the animals, the images are part of that as well. So,
do you feel up to telling us about the Bunnings fiasco?
Bunnings. Yep. Okay. So recently we did receive quite a lot of media attention because we were scheduled to have a Bunnings sausage sizzle, which we've had many before. We started having vegan sausage sizzles at Bunnings in 2016. And we had a little bit of problem with, we had a little bit of problem. Actually, it was 2014. And then the 2016 one, we had a little bit of problem with because it was a particular store that we went to and it was fine in the lead up, but then on the actual sizzle, we were getting a little bit of negative comments said quite loudly by the staff, just going on about how the sausages were rubbish and all this sort of stuff. So, and yeah, it was a whole thing then. But I actually complained to the head office at that time and they apologised fully. And then we held subsequent Bunnings sausages sizzles for another couple of years, and then we hadn't run any because of the pandemic. So anyway, we booked back in to do another one, just trying to raise some funds for the sanctuary, and it was all going really well. And then with about 2 weeks in the lead up to the day, I got a phone call from the activities officer of this Bunnings store, and she said that she'd seen the Facebook event and that we wouldn't be allowed to go ahead unless we offered a beef option. And we obviously said, well, we can't do that and we would never do that because we're here to actually save farmed animals and it's completely the opposite of what we're trying to do. And she said, well, that's fine. You can sell veggie sausages, but you've got to have a beef option. And I was like, well, we can't do that. So I guess that means we can't go ahead. And she said, okay, well, that means we can't go ahead. So I cancelled the event on Facebook and then it got the media's attention, and so it's really blown up. And we actually managed to get an apology from the managing director of Bunnings, which was fantastic. And I think it's really been quite helpful because during the process of all the media attention, we've been actually contacted by quite a few other organisations that have been told by their local Bunnings store that they can't have a vegan sausage sizzle either. So I've shared the letter from the managing director in the hope that they can use that to rectify the situation and go ahead with their veggie sausage sizzles. And we're actually going ahead with one in August at a different store. So yeah, it's all ended up quite well, but it was a lot of, I was calling it Sausage Gate for a while because it was a lot of drama for a sausage sizzle. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just want, for anyone who hadn't heard about this, I just wanted to share that. So thank you for your beautiful presentation and all the work that you do. And I think I heard one of your bubs in the background.
Yes.
It's just beautiful. Okay, thank you. Thanks again for giving up your time tonight, Kate. And I thank my colleague Cara for in the chat box providing links as questions have been coming through. She's been quick